Today, I've been guided to come on here and talk about inner work and how to maintain spiritual discipline while working any job. This message, I feel, could be of benefit to anyone who is employed or otherwise occupied in any manner where they can't control a large portion of their day to day or week to week schedule. It's for anyone who typically has to bend their personal routine around a rigid schedule. So this includes anyone who is being guided to this video, who is also trying to establish a strong spiritual routine. And I'm strongly picking up the energy of students, healthcare workers, educators, engineers, and scientists, like physicists and biochemists, to be exact. I was guided to share with you some of the wisdom I gained and patterns I picked up over the years that helped me balance deep and fulfilling, steady inner work with mandatory and unavoidable scheduling. As many have, I spent years seeking higher education and working under larger institutions or structures for other people. Now, some of those years were spent living in a relatively unconscious lifestyle in the sense of not actively welcoming in universal love. There were many investments made into energies which could keep me distracted from my truth and my power. As you most likely know, we can't live this way for very long without experiencing a sort of divine dissatisfaction and being triggered to start the journey, this mental emotional journey into a life of love, truth, and purpose. And you may already realize that along with mental emotional shifts come physical and spiritual realignments. So, when I experienced the crown chakra awakening that began my spiritual journey, I naturally began to practice new techniques for grounding and connecting to spirit. Many people notice this shift in themselves when they experience a spiritual awakening too, in the sense that they feel more called to meditate, to eat differently, to practice mindful movement, and speak differently. I found that the more consistent I was with those techniques, the more I noticed myself remaining spiritually connected and inspired throughout the day. And so I tried to develop and listen into guidance about smaller, more internal ways that I could, throughout the day, maintain this energy of spiritual connection. In this video, I'll be talking more specifically about the micro routines around these larger techniques. I'll share 6 ways to be steady in your spiritual journey despite having a demanding schedule. Of course, these are not the only methods of establishing consistency. However, these are some non-time consuming practices which are not as commonly discussed and which can bolster your current mindfulness routine. The first tip is knowing and trusting that spirit is aware of your situation and your deadlines. What this gives you is a sense of surrender where you can submit yourself to the work you're doing while also being open to the breakthroughs that are divinely timed to actually meet those deadlines. I found this to be sometimes spooky, but on the days when an exam, for example, would be scheduled, certain profound realizations and clarity would find me on those days as well. And in a lot of ways, I'm sure this has to do with the catharsis, like the release of stress from the mind after a certain deadline is met. But even leading up to it, as you stay committed to your inner journey, you will notice the things that you battle within, and it will culminate, thanks to Spirit's omniscient wisdom, in massive transformations and ascensions that happen in tune with your schedule. The second tip is to develop a thing that you do, a thing that you do as soon as you wake up and right before you go to bed. This could be anything that grounds you and connects you to your personal reality. Examples of these are mirror work, journaling, certain breathing exercises, anything that can be done easily and quickly. You can even do it in bed. Having strong moments of self awareness, love, and grounding at the beginning and at the end of the day really serve as healthy anchors for you throughout the middle of the day to sort of remind yourself that you are existing within a routine, within a divine awareness, within a commitment to get to know spirit and to remain connected to spirit. It can be a lovely challenge and a helpful way to ground you throughout the day and when you're sleeping. Tip number 3 is to use scheduled breaks for presence with nature. The effect that nature has on the body, whether it's a human body or any animal body, cannot be overstated. It is intensely healing, grounding, accepting, loving, and a truth telling. Having moments with yourself in nature, conversations with yourself, whether it's 30 minutes on your lunch break, a walk through a nearby park, or 10 minutes in between meetings or lectures to spend sitting on the roof, basking in the sun. No matter how short and no matter the location, of course, as long as you're safe, you will notice that the intentionality of it, the intentionality of placing yourself in the presence of nature, allows nature to receive all of the stressors that you've incurred so far in the day, receive all of them from you, and gives space for spirit to reconnect with you right there in the middle of the day. If you're sitting, you might be able to journal, and if you're walking, you might be able to video journal. And this segues us into our 4th tip, which is video journaling in general. Video journaling is such a powerful tool for connecting with yourself, especially if you are coming from a history of having paid too much attention to the external world. Video journaling throughout the day is a very, very powerful practice for refocusing your attention on yourself, your thoughts, your needs, and your true feelings regarding everything. Where we turn our attention to is where we feed our energy. So through this practice, you actually start to notice a buildup of energy occurring from just giving ourselves more attention, having self-conversations throughout the day. In fact, video journaling, as well as conversations to and in nature, whether you're conversing with the sun, conversing with the trees, conversing with your heart and yourself, these are strong and potent ways to begin to recognize the true state and the true balance of your internal masculine and feminine energies. The 5th tip is one that you most likely have already heard, which is making visible notes. Be it on post-it, on a large piece of paper, on a piece of clothing, on the wall, anything. Anytime a breakthrough or a bit of wisdom or download comes through, it is so powerful to write it down and to put it up on the wall or put it somewhere where you can see it. This is because every time you look at it, whether you read it consciously or unconsciously, you remind yourself of this new wisdom and allow it to integrate itself within your being without you having to do any extra work. And you'll find that as you note down these downloads, and you'll find that as you write these downloads and you post them up and you read them over, you'll see that you're actually quite a wise individual yourself. You actually have a strong intuitive channel in and of your own self. It is just now ready to be cleared, aligned, balanced, and possibly even uplifted towards a higher timeline, a more desired vibration. This brings us to the final tip that I will be mentioning in today's video, which is practicing Kriya Yoga. Now, if you're not familiar with Kriya Yoga, you might hear the word yoga and think that this has to do with large postural movements of the body. However, Kriya Yoga is a subset of yoga that actually involves, in a sense, doing postures and asanas, as we call them in yoga, with the mind. At its heart, it is a breathing technique paired with a mantra and can be paired with a mudra or hand gesture. Practicing Kriya Yoga, which is kind of like an invisible meditation occurring while you're walking and existing in the world around you. It actually helps you maintain a feeling of being constantly connected with spirit throughout the day, throughout your activities, throughout your conversations. It is a sort of way of extending your meditation from whenever you're able to sit down and have a long meditation all throughout the day until the next time you're able to. Kriya Yoga is a very, very powerful and very, very loving, wholesome technique, and it can be very simple as well. In the middle of the hustle and bustle, taking out time to focus on the breath and to recall the latest wisdom that you have been downloaded can be a powerful way to reset your energy and to realign you with your core truth. Over time, you will start to notice an automaticity, a strengthening, fortification of your routine and discipline. These are all of the micro routines that I've been guided to share with you in today's video. I hope that you have found this to be quite helpful and that it finds you when you need it. For individual sessions and one-on-one counseling in co-creating desired alignments in mind, body, and spirit, please see the link in the description box. Thank you kindly for connecting with me here today. Be sure to subscribe to see future postings which resonate with you and your highest good in the future. Godspeed in creating that ideal balance you're seeking. Take great care and happy aligning.